Welcome to Peeling Back the Onion, a segment of the Clean Getaway Advertising Podcast where we review and critique current advertisements and campaigns. Follow us on Instagram at the Clean Getaway Podcast to see the ads we discuss in each episode.
We're your hosts,
Lauren Rickenbrode
and Maddie Benars, recording live from DePaul University in Chicago.
In this episode, we're going to look at 3 ads from the Don't Yourself campaign by Pinterest. In the words of the CMO, Andrea Mallard, our latest campaign highlights how Pinterest is a different side of the internet where you can focus more on doing and less on viewing, where you can find what you love and forget about likes, and where you can plan your life and try something new, free of judgment.
This campaign was developed in conjunction with the UK creative studio Uncommon and consists of a series of billboards, digital ads, 5 single-take cinematic films, and media partnerships. Lucy Jameson, the co-founder of Uncommon, says that she's proud to partner with Pinterest on this campaign because the platform encourages creativity and expression, as opposed to other social media platforms, which often lead users to compare themselves to others.
Pinterest defies self-doubt in a series of ads in which they silence our inner critics. Let's take a look at 2 billboards and 1 commercial from the campaign that do just that. Head to our Instagram page to see the ads that we will be discussing in this episode.
Lauren and I were really inclined to talk about these ads because we've been seeing a lot of the billboards around Chicago, and they're very eye-catching because they use bright colors and very bold headlines.
One of the ads from this campaign that stood out to me was one that I saw on the Brownline platform, and it was an ad that showed a man with hair dye in his hair that looked a lot like flowers. It was very colorful and a bold hairstyle, and above him is a heading that says, "I'm not man enough to pull off florals." And this heading is supposed to be his inner critic. But on the ad, that heading is crossed out in what looks to be like pink spray paint almost, and it's silencing his inner critic. And underneath the Pinterest logo, it says "do" in that same pink spray paint almost.
I noticed this too, and it's a constant theme that's present in all of these Pinterest billboards where someone's crossing something out. And the one that I saw was in the Blue Line subway, and it depicts a person doing very complicated nail art, and the headline says, "They'll say I have too much time on my hands." And then it's crossed out in like a green spray paint, and then again it says "do" at the bottom underneath the Pinterest logo.
Do you like the choice that Pinterest made to cross out the headings on each of these billboard ads?
I personally do. I think it's a bold move to use an X to cross out the headings in something that they wrote and they put on that billboard. However, I know that some people are kind of confused by this. I was talking to some people about this campaign, and a lot of people were saying that they were confused as to why that they were crossing out something that the person was saying because the heading is in quotes. And I think you just kind of need context to what the campaign is to really see that the words that they're saying are their inner critics and like judgments that they're fearing after doing these crafts or after doing their nail art or doing an interesting hairstyle.
Yeah, I definitely agree with this. I think that you need to know what the campaign is about to understand what they're trying to accomplish when they cross out the headings. But I think that if you look at the advertisements for a bit longer, instead of just glancing at them, you will eventually realize that it's their inner critic. And by crossing it out, they are silencing that person's inner critic. And when they write "do" under the Pinterest ad, they're saying to do whatever you want, express yourself, and don't be scared of what other people think of you despite your inner critic.
And I think it really plays to the idea that Pinterest is trying to be this social media app that's different than something like Instagram, where you're posting pictures of yourself and then feeling judged by people, or you post something and you're like, man, I shouldn't have posted that. I don't really like the way I look. But Pinterest is kind of something where you scroll through differently, looking for ideas to do, looking for crafts. It's a different space than other social media apps.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that Pinterest is different from other social media platforms because you go on that app to be creative, to find ideas, and you don't feel judged. You don't worry about what people are going to think of you when you're on that app. And I think that's what Pinterest is trying to convey throughout this campaign.
In addition to these billboards, Pinterest put out a series of commercials that also show somebody silencing their inner critic.
So, Maddie and I saw one of these commercials on YouTube, and we'd like to play it for you now so that you can hear it for yourself.
I'm your inner critic, and I've always been unimpressed. Your first grade macaroni art, undercooked. Your junior ballet recital, not on point. Your teenage poetry, what rhymes with friendless loser? As for your personal style, I mean, what is that?
It's a look I saw on Pinterest.
You can't pull that off.
I think I can.
With those ankles, you can. Don't do.
My ankles look cute.
Hey, I thought I was helping.
This ad was really interesting to us because it was nice to see this come alive in a digital video format as opposed to just static on a billboard. I think we really get to see how persistent this woman's inner critic is and how she just keeps bringing stuff up from her past and saying, this isn't good enough, you didn't do good enough on these things, so why do you think that you can wear this outfit? You don't look good. And it really just shows how mean we can be to ourselves and how we can really be super overly critical of ourselves and just keep bringing up these things from our past.
I definitely agree with that. I like how we see how persistent her inner critic is, and I especially like how at the end of the ad, she quite literally shoves her inner critic into a wardrobe and shuts her out, which is a really powerful move. And I think that by doing this, Pinterest is trying to show their audience that on their app, you can shut out your inner critic. You can be yourself and learn to put judgments aside. And that's what makes their app so special and unique.
Overall, we really think that Pinterest achieved their goal in what they set out to do with this campaign. We really did feel like it inspired us to get on the app and defy our self-doubt and get rid of those inner critics and those judgments that may be there.
I agree, and I am definitely more inspired to use Pinterest now. I already used Pinterest in the past, but I look at the app completely differently after seeing this campaign. I like how the billboards and the TV ad work together to convey the message of this campaign, which is to silence your inner critic and be yourself. And overall, I think that the campaign was executed well.
That's all for this episode. We hope you enjoyed our review of the Don't Yourself campaign by Pinterest.
What ad should we review next? DM us on Instagram at the Clean Getaway Podcast if you have any ads that you want us to discuss in future episodes of Peeling Back the Onion.
Once again, we're your hosts,
Lauren
and Maddie.
Thanks for listening!